opening comments.
As a result of the COVID pandemic, over 1 million Americans died, and some estimate 6 million, but up to 18 million people died worldwide. The FBI, the Department of Energy, 18-month investigation by the HELP Committee, the Lancet Commission, all have concluded that the virus, in all likelihood, originated from the lab. I've been requesting records for the last 2 years from the Biden administration. I have asked 8 different Democrat chairmen to help with those records requests because the Biden administration objects to records requests unless they are signed by a chairman. And for the last 5 months, I've been working with the chairman of this committee to try to get records, and we still have had no records requests sent and no help from the majority party on this committee. So until there is any kind of production of records, we won't be supporting any unanimous consent passage of any legislation from this committee. We will also object to any nominees coming through the committee, and basically we'll be uncooperative with anything the majority wants to do unless the majority decides to cooperate in the request of records.
Thank you, Member Paul. We have been working with you on those letters and requests over that time. We've exchanged letters back and forth many, many times. It's certainly my intent to work with you on the information that you want to collect. We have letters to request documents that are sitting in your office right now that I'm prepared to sign. I know you wanted to have further discussion, and as we agreed, we're hoping to meet this week to make it happen. But no, my intent is sincere, and I think I've probably been more open than any other chair of any other committee to make sure that we get documents so that you can do the proper oversight that we have to do here as members of Congress.
There have been discussions back and forth, but I'll just give you a pictorial example of where the discussions are. With just one agency, the NIH, we've asked for 77 different questions in documents. The red are the examples of where your staff has said you will not give up documents. The green is the example of where you might help with documents. So as you can see, the vast majority of our records requests have been removed. And I'll leave you with this if your staff wants to look at it. But we don't feel like we are getting cooperation. We think we have 5 months of runaround and that we're not getting anywhere on the records request. And the thing is this isn't a partisan issue. This isn't even really, most of the information dates back to the Trump administration. So this isn't pointing fingers at Biden, saying Biden created the pandemic or anything like that. It's whether or not some science was not properly reviewed, whether some of that science was used in Wuhan, or whether an accident happened. That's all we want to know. And frankly, it's not partisan because it doesn't point towards Biden. We want to score no points for the Biden administration. Our only complaint with the Biden administration is they won't give it up. And realize that some of this stuff's already been given up. The Foreign Relations Committee has information that I want to see. They don't want to give it up. There are Republican members that have seen some of this information. I still haven't seen the information. So it's really a problem of everybody trying to hold secret stuff that is not classified, shouldn't be secret, and how do we have oversight if we can't see these records?
Again, Senator Paul, I want to work with you. We are working with you. We have made a lot of agreements between the two staff as to what we would request in this first round. As you know, in an investigation, there are going to be many rounds of requests for information. You collect information, you process that leads to other questions, and we'll continue to work. I just got the note because I wanted to confirm. We are meeting tomorrow at 11:30. You and I will sit down with our staff, and you have my commitment to work with you, but we have to do this in a process that works to actually get these documents, to make sure we can produce them, and to have a thoughtful investigation into this. And I'm prepared to work. I would just hope you'd be willing for us to work together and know that we're not trying to block documents. We're trying to do this in a systematic way that gets us the information that I believe would be helpful for us to answer very important questions that you're raising. I don't disagree with that, and we'll do that, and I'm looking forward to a productive meeting tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. where all of us can sit down together and at least start the process. There's not a one and done. When an investigation's never a one and done, it takes steps, and we're going to be hopefully making some meaningful steps after tomorrow's meeting, and I look forward to that. I will now move to our votes. We'll proceed first off to the consideration of S-1528. This bill deals with disaster assistance simplification. You know, after a disaster, there are various types of federal assistance that may become available to disaster survivors through different government agencies. But currently, because of restrictions on information sharing, each agency requires a different detailed application process to receive assistance, which this can take weeks or months, and survivors don't have that kind of time. This bill quite simply directs FEMA to create a universal disaster application that authorizes the necessary information sharing authorities to simplify recovery efforts and reduce the burden on survivors after a disaster. Under this bill, all information sharing practices would have to meet applicable data security standards and best practices. So I'd like to thank Ranking Member Paul and Senator Langford for introducing this bill with me, and I hope folks will join me in supporting this bipartisan effort. If there's no further debate or amendment on the question before us is final passage of S. 1528. The clerk will call the roll.
Senator Carper.
Aye by proxy.
Senator Hassan. Aye. Senator Sinema. Aye. Senator Rosen. Aye. Senator Padilla. Aye. Senator Ossoff. Aye. Senator Blumenthal. Aye. Senator Paul.
Aye.
Senator Johnson.
Aye by proxy.
Senator